Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at importing existing content into Authorit, the content management system. My name is Richard and I am a business development manager here at Authorit Software Corporation. Okay, so importing is a part of Authorit that we developed due to customers really liking what they saw. They knew where they had to be, they knew where they were, but they didn't know how to get between the two. So the importation tool was developed to help change management, essentially, moving towards a content management system, lessening the burden and the amount of time and effort it takes to convert content into components. And so what we have here is the importation ribbon bar. This is the Authorit library, if you're unfamiliar. We have the folders. This is the ribbon bar up here that I'm referring to, and all of these file formats that you see are compatible with the Authorit importing tool. So I'm just going to choose a quick example of the Word importing. It's a fabulous importing tool that we have here based on importing existing Word document. So I have here some documents for the X5000 user guide that I'm going to be importing. Now Authorit essentially breaks content from the file document paradigm into a new component paradigm. And it does that basically is in a similar way to the way that we read documents. We apply formatting and break up content into paragraphs and bullet points and tables to be able to read it. It's the reason that we don't read walls of text is that we need it to be broken up into some sort of structure, and Authorit essentially reads it in the exact same way. So we have here the topic structure that is mapped inside Authorit as default. I've made no changes here, but we can create new rules on the formatting when it's going to create chapters and topics based on the type of documentation that you have. You can save those rules to those types of documents to profiles and create them on the fly. So I'm just going to skip past this step at this stage. Authorit will also map the styles, so it's very important that you have some styles inside your Word document, and Authorit will essentially map the styles. So when it sees things like body text, it will map that to body text. However, you may set up a rule that maps one style to another as part of that change management. And essentially Authorit is a controlled authoring environment, so we enforce the usage of styles to add consistency and work in a multiple output publishing environment. So it is a very good reason to move towards Authorit is to add this sort of structure and consistency and compliance to your documentation, so your team can come out looking and the documents behave in the same way. So we're just going to apply those rules and see what we come up with. Authorit then has a preview, and I'm just going to expand this up a little bit, where the table of contents on the left hand side of what we're looking at. So we have some topics based on the style and formatting and the rules that we have by default. It's broken up the documents as we see here. We can get a before and after view of what we had and what we'll get. And essentially what is important here is the capture of content and data. So it's looks like it's mapping things rather correctly. We have some ad hoc formatting here as well. Now this is just going off the page, off the screen capture slightly. So I'll just try and resize this so we can have a little look. But we have here some ad hoc formatting which has not been captured because it's not been applied as a style. That's on the surface sensor branding. However, there are rules in place, or there is some functionality that we can add to create new rule, which every time we see this, it is going to apply a piece of branding to capture that. So I've said every time it sees that type of ad hoc formatting, it's going to map that to be a button style. It's a very quick example of how you can actually go through, and if it's not been correctly applied as a style, you can fix those mistakes during the import preview. And once we're happy with that, we can continue on and finalize the process. And if I just shrink this down and off to the side, we can see that Authorit is creating the topics of information. It's produced the book, which gives it structure and hierarchy, and it's importing the content. And so from then on, it's a matter of giving it a quick sanity check with someone who's familiar with the content to make sure that everything's gone okay, and we can load up the book, publish it out. So have a quick look here. This is the Author Publishing Engine, where we're now taking a predetermined output publishing template and giving it some design and functional elements. We're getting ourselves an HTML, excuse the resizing as I just get this inside the screen capture, an HTML output like so. Okay, so essentially it was a Word document we've very quickly imported and published out to HTML.